We all make mistakes. You didn't need me to tell you that. But what's really fascinating when we make mistakes is that there's a tremendous amount of guilt and shame around what we do, and then tremendous anxiety about people finding out about it and getting called on our stuff. And as the great non-Jewish philosopher and psychologist Jordan Peterson says, everything eventually comes out. I'm sure there's something biblical about that also, but you can never get away. It always get, what's it called? The chickens always come home to roost, or whatever the expression is. So what happened in this week's Torah portion was exactly that concept, which is that ultimately Yehuda had to recognize what he did and take responsibility for it. And he stood up as a result and was willing to face the consequences, whatever they might be. And again, that's also a fascinating question: is what are the consequences? Sometimes the consequences are great, sometimes they're not great. But either way, the consequences themselves are. And we can get through anything, but oftentimes the anxiety that comes with anticipating the consequences are worse than the consequences themselves, and they last longer. So the idea of being able to own what you did and own it early and own it quicker, you're going to have to pay one way or the other, right? Like at the end of the day, like you did it, right? You do the crime, you do the time. But by eliminating the anxiety that comes with what's going to be and bringing it out to the open, there's a wash of peace, and there's a wash of just like kind of letting go and owning it and being human for 5 seconds, right? So that even if the consequences are catastrophic, which in Yehuda's case, like they were absolutely catastrophic, they could have been, oftentimes the experience of owning it and standing up to it will not only alleviate your anxiety, but will also solve the problem and push off and make the consequences largely irrelevant, because now you might have learned the lesson. Shabbat Shalom, Parshas Vayigash.